Well, what's up, amigos? Which means friends in English.
I'm learning so much.
Anytime, brother.
Man.
I haven't been in Sean Daniel's house in a very long time, but I came here because there are 5 mind-blowing tricks that we want to talk about when it comes to playing the guitar.
Exactly. If you need your mind blown, you come to Sean's place. Every time.
Yeah, so you know what's more impressive than my rings? These tricks that I learned.
That's tough. I don't know. Those rings are very impressive. Wow, what do you got? Five rings for 5 tips? Is that it?
That's it.
Nice.
The only problem is that now everybody, instead of admiring my rings, they just compare me with Johnny Depp. So.
No, probably.
Whatever.
Yeah, for many,
for the rings.
That's very insulting to your wife. Christian, he didn't mean it.
Yeah, when you start playing the guitar, once in a while there's these little tips that you're given. And I'm talking when you first I started when I was 12.
Sure.
And you when you
I
were...
started when I was 17, but I was kind of like I was 12 then,
So one of them is to play the strings near the bridge, like as close as you can. It will sound like almost like an electric guitar.
That's right.
And I was like, let me see, because nylon string guitar is very, very deep
Sounds
sounding.
like a completely different guitar.
And check it out. I was like, it does really sound like an electric guitar, like kind of the intro to Zombie by the Cranberries.
Okay.
That sounds like an electric guitar too.
It does. I learned that same tip.
But on an electric guitar.
And I'm not even playing near the bridge.
You're not even playing there, and it works.
But that's the thing, when you're starting out, you don't know where to play. What's the best place to play?
Yeah.
You maybe just see somebody doing it and you copy it, and that's how you play it.
Yeah, and some of us don't even have an electric guitar when we start.
You want to know what blew my mind?
Yeah, I want to know.
First started out?
I want to know.
So one of the cool things about guitar as compared to other instruments is you can bend notes, right?
Note bending.
Bend and vibrato, right? I always thought that when you were to bend, I got it. I was like, okay, cool. You bend a note. Here's a note. If I wanted to sound higher, I bend it, right? But I was very uninformed about bending. I always thought you had to bend down. I never even knew you could bend up. It was always down. So if I were to bend the high E string, I'd be like, I always bend off the fretboard.
Yeah.
I never even really thought about bending up.
But the funny thing is that I didn't even know until this moment that you're telling me that you could bend down.
Yeah, right? Because most people learn to bend up.
Yeah, I always.
Right?
Yeah, I never bend down.
And it makes more sense because when you bend up, you can do stuff under the strings too. There's a lot that I just didn't understand. I always thought it was bending down. I never knew that you could actually start a note bent without hearing it, like
I see,
that.
I see.
That was something that I probably played for like 10 years before I was like, oh, that's how you do that. You bend it up without playing it.
You know what?
And then bring it down.
That's one of I've been there too.
Yeah, right?
Where I'm like, how come the note just went down?
What kind of
pedal?
way?
What kind of pedal?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how
What
it
kind
was.
of pedal are they bending the note down?
Bend up, bring it down, right? I was always just down. Oh, bend it. I
want to try that one.
It was tough.
That's a fun one.
That was me. That was 17-year-old Sean. Just got the bends.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That's a tip. Blew my mind when I figured it out.
Nice.
What do you got? You got another tip?
Of course, I got another tip. When I first got a loop station, I got a few percussion instruments, so I could loop my chords and then my shaker. But then I saw a friend of mine. He would put the guitar in his lap, and then he would play it and make it sound like a bongo.
It does.
Believe it or not, I looped my guitar on stage for years.
Yeah.
Actually, years. Looping that sound. Instead of getting actual bongos. I eventually got myself a pair of bongos, and I eventually hired my sister to play at my gigs, playing the bongos. But for years, I just use my guitar for percussion. You can use your guitar for percussion.
I mean, when you think about it, like a cajon is a piece of empty wood. A guitar is a piece of empty wood, right? It's only our perception and our minds that are limiting us. You want to know something else that blew my mind?
I want to.
So, you know, when you look at like the rock stars back in the day, they had those big Marshall stacks of amplifiers, right? There'd be like the Marshall head, and then there'd be like a 4x10 or 12 stack, and then another cabinet stack. I didn't know this, embarrassingly, but I was like, I just want to get one of those Marshall heads. But you need a cabinet for it to make sound. I thought because here's why I can be forgiven of this in my younger days. Again, I didn't have any musical friends to help me. I was learning all this stuff on my own, you know what I mean? I thought, oh, well, you just get the top part, and it looks kind of like a speaker because they usually outfit it with the same mesh as the cabinets. So I thought I could just plug right into that and it would make like just maybe a lower volume sound. I didn't know that I needed actual like speakers to plug it into.
Oh my God, that was just an amplifier, right?
Like yeah, to me, it's like an amplifier and a cabinet were just the same thing. Right? And every amplifier has one built in. I did not know that they were separate.
Oh my God.
Until I was like at a friend's house. And again, this was like, I've only been playing for a few months. And I plugged into the head and it wasn't connected to anything. And I'm like, how come it's
no sound?
Why isn't it? I'm turning it up. I'm cranking everything up and I can't do it. And it's just not delivering.
And the amp was probably like smoking and stuff.
Yeah, it started on fire, you know, and then it burned the house down and people died.
You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, you know.
And you were not close to those people anymore.
No, to be young and naive, especially after they were all dead.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, once they're dead, I mean.
And then I was like, you know, and then at their funeral, I was like,
after
speaker cabinets.
You learn. Every funeral teaches something.
My bad, guys.
I got another one for you.
Oh, this is tip number 5. This is it.
This is Oh, that's it.
This is the fifth tip. Time flies, bro. When you're giving out fire tips.
But we got more, shouldn't we?
There's more over on my channel.
In your channel?
This is a dual video. This is like a classic YouTube collab. A classic YouTube collab.
Some of the tips are the best.
Are on the SG channel. Some of the tips are on the AC channel.
So they're split.
You know? There we go.
Wow.
Hit us with one more before people go over to my channel. Yeah.
I made my guitar sound like percussion. But I also made my guitar sound like a bass.
No.
And I did not use any pedals, any octave pedals, nothing. All I did was, this is all acoustic, but I was using an electric acoustic. Mm-hmm. You have an EQ right here on board, EQ. Well, I turned the highs and the mids all the way down, only kept the bass up and turned the volume, crank it up a lot. Mm-hmm. And then mute the strings slightly with my palm and play regular notes.
No sustain.
But it sounded like a freaking bass. I'm not kidding.
There we go. And you're like, oh,
I was looping that.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded pretty good.
And your life has never been the same since.
Percussion, my
now
fake
you're
bass.
Professional looper.
I have my trio right there on stage.
Man, that's right. And you got to fire 2 people. You got to keep more money for yourself. Put a bass player and your poor sister, the bongo player, put her out of business. Even though she's doing okay.
I miss her.
That's, you know, she was in that fire.
No, don't say those things. No. My sister is well, and hello, sister. I hope you're doing well.
So those are some great tips. You know, you can forgive it. Tell us in the comments what maybe you didn't understand at first. Some tips that blew your mind, or maybe if we educated you in a way that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah, tell us your experiences. Mm-hmm. Take care, my friends. Head over to his channel. Check out the other 5.